An arthropod is an invertebrate animal that has an exoskeleton, a segmented body, and paired jointed appendages. Arthropods are the largest phylum in animal kingdom as they are found everywhere. Arthropods are responsible for forming the phylum of Arthropoda. A few of the examples of the families of organisms that are an example of arthropods are insects such as ants, bees, and dragonflies. Arachnids such as the scorpions and the spiders, myriapods such as the centipedes and the millipedes, other crustaceans such as crabs, lobsters, and shrimp. The term arthropod is derived from a Greek word that means jointed foot. It's most likely an arthropod if the organism has an exoskeleton of joints between its feet and body. Arthropods are a group of animals that evolved skeletons on the outside, in the form of hard shells composed of a substance called chitin, rather than on the inside, to provide structural protection. Arthropods' bodies also differ from other vertebrates in a big way as their skeletal system is simpler and less efficient, and that is the reason most of the arthropods cannot outgrow their size. The arthropod whole body plan consists of segments, and each segment has a pair of appendages. Molting is the process in which the arthropods shed their skins to grow. Arthropods have a body and an external skeleton that is bilaterally symmetrical. Wings are present in some insects. With up to 10 million species, they are a very diverse group. The internal cavity of an arthropod is called the hemocoel, which helps in gathering all the interior organs, and through the help of hemolymph, blood is circulated all over the body. The arthropods have an open circulatory system. Arthropods' internal organs, including their exteriors, are made up of recurring segments. Their nervous system is ladder-like, with paired ventral nerve cords that extend along each segment and form paired ganglia. Their brains are formed by the fusion of the ganglia of these segments and encircle the esophagus. Their heads are formed by the fusion of different numbers of segments, and their brains are formed by the fusion of the ganglia of these segments. Arthropods' respiratory and excretory systems differ based on their habitat as well as which subphylum they belong to. For vision, arthropods use a mixture of compound eyes and pigment pit ocelli. Spiders' primary eyes are ocelli, which can create images and, in some cases, swivel to detect prey. Arthropods have a variety of chemical and mechanical sensors, most of which are dependent on modifications to the multiple setae bristles that protrude from their cuticles. Internal fertilization is used for all terrestrial animals, although the semen is often transferred indirectly through an appendage or the field. All the arthropods are believed to have evolved from a single common ancestor, though there are few scientists who still debate and are not sure of who the common ancestor was. Arthropods now contribute to human food production in two ways which are active as food and, more specifically, indirectly as seed pollinators. People, cattle, and crops have also been known to be infected by certain insects. In this article, we are going to discuss and raise a few questions such as what is an arthropod? Which is the largest phylum of the animal kingdom? The classification of phylum Arthropoda and also a few important frequently asked questions will also be answered. An arthropod is an invertebrate that is usually characterized by the presence of multiple joints, a chitinous exoskeleton, various segmentation, and an open circulatory system. The internal organs of the species are protected by the chitinous exoskeleton. It also serves as an attachment point for organisms' muscles, especially for arthropods with moving appendages. The exoskeleton of arthropods is made up of layers of chitin and proteins. The specialization of structures and organs in arthropods is accounted for by segmentation. Segments also serve as a location for arthropods' various limbs or appendages to emerge. These appendages serve a variety of roles, including feeling, driving, copulation, and feeding, among others. The arthropods have an open circulatory system which consists of the main heart and short arteries where the heart is able to deliver the hemolymph to the sinuses which surround the internal organs through short arteries. The phylum Arthropoda is further classified into subphylum classes, each of which is described by the characteristics of the species within it, such as the subphylum Trilobitomorpha. Crustacea includes lobsters, shrimps, and crabs, all of which are distinguished by their extinct trilobites. Members of the Chelocerata family have several bodies. Scorpions and spiders are among them. Myriapods and insects are members of the Tracheata subphylum. The actual number of arthropod species is unknown, and it can't be determined the actual precise number of them, but the estimated number of arthropod species is between 2 million to about 30 million all around the world. This estimated number is enough, to say the least, that the arthropod species are all around the world, and it accounts for more than 80% of all the known animal species. It is also impossible to estimate the number of arthropod species around the world. This is due to census simulation predictions that were projected into other areas in order to scale up from local counts to global counts. According to a survey published in 1992, Costa Rica has 500,000 animal and plant species, with 365,000 of them being arthropods. The arthropods are very important members of the marine, land, freshwater, and air ecosystem. The arthropods are one of the two major animal groups that have successfully adapted to live in a dry environment. Other animals that have successfully adapted to live in dry conditions are the amniotes, whose living members include animals such as reptiles, birds, and mammals. One of the subspecies of the arthropods is the insects, which are considered to be the most species-rich member of all ecological guilds in the land and the freshwater environments. The heaviest insects weigh up to 70 grams, whereas the lightest insects weigh up to 25 micrograms, which is a millionth of a gram. Some live crustaceans are much larger. For example, the legs of the Japanese spider crab can reach up to 4 meters or 13 feet, and the American lobster is the heaviest of all living arthropods, weighing over 20 kilograms. The Arthropoda phylum is the largest phylum in animal kingdom, which includes over 85% of the animals which are distributed all around the world. A few of the arthropods' examples are insects, crabs and millipedes, and many more. The number of discovered, known, and described arthropods are about 30 million species, and over 1 million of these species are of insects. Arthropod species are found to live in various habitats, as they are found in deep oceans and on higher altitudes, and that is the reason that the members of the phylum Arthropoda vary greatly in their structure and history. The biomass of arthropods is thought to be higher than that of all other species. They have distinguishing features that set them apart from other invertebrates. The jointed limbs and exoskeletons are examples of these characteristics. Arthropod exoskeletons are formed from the rough cuticle coating. Arthropods' muscles are bound to the cuticle that runs through their body segments and arms, allowing them to walk freely. The cuticle is mostly made up of chitin starch, which is plentiful on the planet. Another important feature of the arthropods is their segmented bodies that are deemed to be bilaterally symmetric in nature, and the number of different segments in their bodies with their appendages have been found to have several functions to the region from where they originate. Arthropods have a dorsal heart and a blood cavity that makes up a hemocoel in their circulatory system. The central nervous system of the arthropod consists of a brain or the esophageal center anteriorly and a nerve cord with ganglions ventrally. The arthropod muscles are striated fibers but do not have epithelial cells with cilia. Arthropods have been around for millions of years. The prevalent arthropods, trilobites, for example, were radiated around 550 million years ago in the early Paleozoic oceans. Furthermore, it is thought that arthropods evolved from their early annelid ancestors during times of evolution. In the Devonian epoch, around 350 million years ago, the first arachnid, as well as butterflies, sea spiders, and millipedes, emerged about 400 million years ago. Arthropod exoskeletons are critical to their performance and shortcomings. Exoskeletons have a variety of purposes, including providing protection from the outside world, assisting in locomotion, supporting the body, reducing water leakage, and storing electricity. The exoskeleton is made up of two layers: the epicuticle, which is non-chitinous and impermeable, and the endocuticle, which is porous and permeable. Chitin and protein are what the endocuticle is composed of. The endocuticle outer layer is very hard due to the presence and action of calcium carbonate on it. This trait has been observed in a variety of marine crustaceans, as well as arachnids and insects that sclerotize cuticle proteins. Since arthropods have such a diverse range of mechanisms, their mouthparts are hardened, allowing them to consume a wide range of food sources. In addition, the exoskeleton lines the trachea or respiratory tubes of insects and myriapods, and it extends to the gut. In addition to their versatility, this perfect mix of soft membranes and hard materials provides rigidity and strength. Despite the fact that there is a limitation on how much the arthropods can grow, it is believed that few of the extinct arthropods were able to grow to a length of 1.8 meters, and few crustaceans such as the famous giant spider crabs can weigh up to 7 kilograms, and except few arthropods, many of the arthropods are relatively very small in size. It is believed by many scientists that marine arthropods can grow bigger than land arthropods. The largest spiders and insects that can be found on the land can weigh up to 200 grams or less. The largest ground spiders and insects weigh less than 100 grams. The Goliath beetles, the world's largest insect, are 10 centimeters wide and 15 centimeters tall. Mites and parasitic wasps are the tiniest arthropods, measuring less than 0.23 millimeters in length. And if they are lightweight, less than the weight of a cell's nucleus, they have complex habits and structures. The figure given below shows the diversity between different species of the phylum Arthropoda. Different arthropods examples are used to show the length and size of the arthropods, as they can be as small as 1 millimeter and they can also be as large as 4 meters. Though they may differ in the structures, they do have common features such as the segmented bodies with appendages and the presence of an outer exoskeleton. Most of the arthropods mainly reproduce by sexual reproduction. However, there are many arthropods that are found to be hermaphroditic, which means they have the organs of both sexes. One of the examples of hermaphroditic arthropods is barnacles. There are also a few crustaceans and insects that can reproduce by the means of parthenogenesis. When the conditions are favorable, many of the arthropods revert back to reproducing sexually. Sexual reproduction is the most preferred option by the arthropods that live in the aquatic environment, and it is done by means of external fertilization. Crustaceans and Apiliones use specialized appendages such as the gonopods to reproduce sexually. All the terrestrial arthropods are known to reproduce by the means of internal fertilization. This is done when the males produce packets of sperms known as spermatophores, which are then taken into the bodies by the females. Arthropods are known to lay eggs, but in the case of gravid scorpions, they produce eggs that hatch inside the body.